ready for some uncommon sense? Here's a topic that always raises some eyebrows: term limits. Term limits for the Senate and House of Representatives in Washington has been bandied back and forth for decades, but nothing has ever been done about it. Why? Because most of the members of Congress don't want to get real jobs, and being a legislator is the easiest way there is to get really rich. Have you ever noticed that the people that have been in Congress for a decade or more are all millionaires? The government only pays them a salary of $174,000 a year. Now ask yourself, how could someone that only makes $174,000 a year become a millionaire in just 10 or 12 years in Congress? I'll give you a second to think about that. Could it be that large amounts of money, also known as bribes, suddenly appear when they vote for certain bills that mean megabucks to large corporations? Could it be that they are told when to buy or sell stocks the day before one of those companies makes a big announcement that will affect the stock market? Insider trading. How did we get to this point? When America was just a baby country, Congress was populated by volunteers, elected by their constituents to represent them in Washington. They were local businessmen who left their businesses at home to come help run this country for free for just a short time and then go home to their businesses again. The Congress soon voted themselves a $6 a day stipend to help offset their expenses. No one got rich off that, but it was a nice way to say thank you for volunteering your services. For the last 30 years, the salary has been frozen at $174,000 a year. If someone was in Congress for 10 years, that is $1,740,000 total for that 10 years before taxes. Now, if they were able to live on, say, $100,000 a year, and they saved about $50,000 a year, in 10 years that would only be $500,000. But of course we know none of them can live that cheaply. Yet most of our legislators that are in Washington for more than 2 terms are millionaires. And with a little investigation we might find that some are billionaires. There's nothing wrong with being a billionaire. The problem is what they did to get that money. People who are in favor of term limits say 2 terms should be the maximum anyone should be able to spend in Congress. People that argue against term limits say that it takes time to make connections necessary to get things done in Washington. This is a good point, but what good representative of the people couldn't figure that out in just a month or 2? The problem with career politicians is they end up with too much power in Congress. It is said that with much power comes great responsibility, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. The longer people are in office and the more power they get, the more tempted they are to work for themselves instead of the people who elected them. Have you heard of lobbyists? The lobbyists are individuals or groups hired to influence our legislators when making government decisions. Their goal is to sway policies and laws in favor of their clients. The bigger the client, the bigger the incentives for lawmakers to vote in their favor. The lobbyist mindset is, everyone can be bought, you just have to find the right price. Now, common sense says lobbying sounds like bribery, and bribery is illegal. So if lobbyists are trying to get the legislators to vote against the will of the people, lobbyists should be eliminated. So why haven't they been told to stay away from our legislators? Perhaps too many lawmakers have gotten a taste of the apple. Now, before I finish, I want to state that I don't think all people in Congress are out for themselves. I'm sure there are a lot of good people there who really want to serve the people that elected them. The problem is that they can't get anywhere with their issues unless they play ball and get in step with the old guard, those that have been there for decades, that have all the power, and have been corrupted. If we could retire people who have been in Congress too long, we would have a chance at having an efficient government that really looks out for the good of the people that elected them. The only answer to me is term limits. It only seems common sense.